afternoon, Kuda.
Hey, Shepherd. Good to see you again.
Yes, welcome to Entrepreneurship Couch.
It's good to be here.
To our viewers across the globe, we have got Kuda Mupawose, who is the founder and MD for FESO Africa. She is going to be with us for the next couple of weeks, where we are going to be discussing entrepreneurship. We are going to be actually running series of entrepreneurship lessons and exposure and experience that she has had. Kuda, welcome once again.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Kuda, before we can talk about the things that we are going to discuss today, I just need to understand, you were a hairdresser before. What prompted you to start and use FESO?
Okay. Being a hairdresser, what is important is having the hair to work with. So when I returned to Zimbabwe in 2018, I realized that a lot of my clients didn't have hair anymore. The hairline was receding. There were a lot of weaves being used, and that kind of like disturbed me a bit. And without actually realizing that I had diverted, I started looking for solutions to grow my client's hair back. Because without a client's hair, the client will end up cutting the hair and there's no business. So I was looking for a continuation of my business. And so without realizing, I diverted into the search for oils or remedies, of natural remedies, because one of the things that I also had now started on was I realized that people were relaxing their hair, and after relaxing hair, they put on a weave, and that was damaging people's hair. So I started advocating for natural hair, and I started writing in one of the newspapers, weekend newspapers in Zimbabwe. And then, by fluke, that's when I discovered FESO. So primarily, FESO was birthed because I wanted to assist my clients who were losing hair through traction alopecia. This is pulling of hair, people losing hair, getting bald, and this then opened a door for me into the world of hair loss, and which is something a lot of people talk about it, but it's a subject that is almost like a taboo, because a lot of people do cover themselves. They don't want people to know that they don't have hair. So, and I understand, it's a big issue. It's an emotional wreck. People lose confidence, and that includes you guys. Like, take, for example, yourself. You're always wearing a cheese cup. It's because you're trying to hide that you've got, you're balding, So, and I don't know. That's how FESO came to be. It was created to solve a problem, which is, I think, becomes a very center word for all entrepreneurs, that for your business to survive, you need to be solving a problem. If there's no problem, then there's no reason. Why would somebody support you all the time? You're there because you are solving a problem. So whatever ideas that you have, if you're going to be solving a problem, then your business is going to continue.
Okay. Kuda, for me, I've always thought it's only women who are going to be helped, or who have been helped through FESO. Do you think you have got a large clientele base on men as well?
Yeah, it's actually, from 18 years old, men lose hair. And the amazing thing about FESO is that it's trans race. It goes through all the races: black, white, Indian, Asian. They all are getting help from FESO. So for guys, a lot of them, they lose hair. Mainly, it's more evident on white guys between 18 and about 35, over 40 million guys lose hair. And it hampers on their confidence, self-confidence. So we do have a lot of clients that have benefited, using Feso. And this guys, it's called multi-balding. It's caused by hydrotestosterone. So the gene then comes up and sits on your scalp and it starts feeding on the hair follicles. And this actually also, you find other women from 30 going to about 40, they also start developing what is called multi-balding. That's losing hair at the crown. So using Feso has actually helped a lot of people to actually realize their hair back. And my advice, like I was giving to you, the earlier you start on Feso, the better for you. Because then it's a DHT blocker, the dihydrotestosterone blocker. So Feso is a DHT blocker.
Okay. And talking about men, how has been the reception compared to the white guys and black guys?
No, actually, I'm very happy to say you guys are coming on, Whereas before, our old men, they just used to think, well, this is a sign of making money. No. So the guys are coming up. And I've got quite a number of clients, guys, that are now using it. And so I'm very grateful for that. So it's quite a big chunk of guys who are on Feso, and they've gotten good results.
Okay.
It just takes a little bit of time.
Okay.
But definitely.
Okay. And besides addressing the issue to do with baldness, does it also help in terms of gray hair?
I haven't done an intensive research on that. It's going to be part of one of my researches that I'm doing. But over time, using Feso has resulted in the hair strands that were gray to become black. So the scientific backup, I don't have that much, or how long it has been, but I've seen that in the people that have been using Feso consistently, their hair tends to actually darken. So it tends from gray to black, and which is in line with what the old women's tell and the old men's tell. When they were using Feso, the plant, their hair would darken. So there is definitely something there, but it's just a claim now. I don't have stats to actually prove it. I've seen clients whose hair have come back. One of my pastors here, he has white hair. He has been using Feso and he's starting to see black streaks coming back to his hair. So there is, but without a proper research done, I can't say yes it does, but from observation, yes, there is definitely a change from gray to black. It does not color the hair that's already out, but the new hair that's coming out after it, like say if you've been using Feso, say for 3 months continuously, the hair that then comes out after 3 months turns out to be black.
Kuda, thanks very much for that information. We are very grateful to Feso Africa for affording us an opportunity to talk to you such that we can share with the rest of the world in terms of those that may benefit from your experience and exposure as an entrepreneur. We hope as we go forward, as we continue this series, you will always have 1 or 2 things to share with us in terms of Feso as a product. Now, going on to the subject matter, maybe I need to find out from you, Kuda, why have you thought you could share with us your experience and exposure in terms of helping others who are running their own businesses?
I think I've been running my own business for over 20 years and I've made a lot of mistakes. I could be far in terms of, the best teacher is experience, as they say. And hindsight is the best, vision anyone can ever have. So when I look back, had I known what I know now, I know I would I wouldn't be where I am today. I would be very, very far. Not that I'll change a few things or whatever, but because of what I have learned, if I apply it today, I know I will be in a better place. So by the same token, if others that are on this platform that are watching, that are going to watch, if they will pay attention to my mistakes, they can actually help themselves not to make the same mistakes. It's better. Why should we reinvent the wheel? Other people have gone before us. I think it's an opportunity. Everyone can learn from anyone. And I want to believe that in my sphere of influence, in the time that I've run my business, I have made mistakes that can help somebody not make the same mistakes and be a better business person than I am.
Thanks very much, Kuda. Now, to our viewers, for today, we are only going to pick on just 3 topics. We are going to pick on cash flow management. Kuda is going to share with us her journey, her experience in terms of how cash flow management had an impact in terms of how she was running her business. The second thing that we are also going to talk about is the support structure, how the issue to do with support structure played a crucial role in terms of how she was running her business. The final thing that we are going to discuss and talk about is the issue to do with sales and marketing as she was just setting up. So Kuda, maybe I would now need to afford you this opportunity to share with us the issue to do with cash flow management. How did this affect your business? Looking back, what are some of the things that you may want to share with us, which you would want others to maybe make sure that they do not make the same mistakes?
Yeah, the initial year. Remember, when we talked last time, I was telling you how difficult it was for me to open a bank account and how, because of my connections, I was able to open a business account. And I had never operated a check account to start with. So I'm going to tell my little story. I'm going to cut it up and zero in on what is important.
Sure.
So there I was, 23 years of age. I now have this checkbook. So, which is what a lot of business people do. You've got an idea. You put it in writing. Because we're very learned, and Google has done very well in helping us to come up with an amazing business plan, cash flow projections, all that. Everything is top notch. You go to the bank, like me, maybe you have good connections, you present your documents, and you get the loan. And suddenly, obviously, when you are doing the cash flow projection, you're going to factor in working capital. Working capital is not the money that you're going to be using immediately. It's money that you're going to be continuously using. So in most cases, a lot of people do get the working capital. It's not the business fund, but it's the working capital. So business funding is the one that it's all part of business funding, but I'm trying to say is it's not the money that you're going to start to use, like you're going to do the rental, so there is that first month that you get the money. You're going to buy your machinery, you're going to buy your products, you're going to buy whatever that you need to start your business. And then there's that money that we are talking about that remains, that you're supposed to then use in the event that you didn't sell this month. Next month, you're still supposed to be operating. The following month, you're still supposed to be operating because you're new in the business. So I'll take you back to my story. So I had just gotten my business account and I was given a checkbook. I'd never operated a business checkbook. I had also had been given a business loan plus an overdraft facility. And I had zooch information about cash flow management, But anyway, a checkbook for me meant I had money. And so I went on to a writing check spree, buying things that I needed. Because I bought everything that I needed for my business, So, and then there was this chunk of money that I was left with. So that time, obviously, I just started staying by myself. I didn't have a radio. So I went and I bought a radio. I went and I bought a TV for myself. I changed my bed. You know, these things that you want to have, suddenly you've got money, because that's what I thought. And obviously, the money was enough to buy me everything that I wanted. And still the checks were just going through. So the loan had disappeared. Now I was touching on my overdraft. And I kept on, I kept on writing checks, and until the check started bouncing. And it's okay. So here's the funny thing. Cash that was coming in every day, for me, it meant that it was cash for me okay, yes, I know the chemicals that needs to be bought for the salon, so I'll go and buy what needs to be bought. But what has been left, today I feel like having pizza. So I go and I have pizza. I didn't have a salary. So the money that was available was what I feel like, I've got this shoe that I saw at this shop. I go and I buy. So I went on to eat the capital. In Shona, we would say, kukangambeu, like you eat your seed. So I went on and I ate my seed. And before very long, I think in about 3 months, I started getting letters of demand, deputy sheriff, people wanting to come and take stuff because I had paid them and they'd not pay. I didn't pay back because I had spent the money. I was writing checks. The banks was no longer owning my checks. So I was in a fix. And this is what a lot of us entrepreneurs do. The money that is there, the money that you have sold today, if I were to sell 10 bottles of Feso today, it's not my money. And that's the discipline that you need to know from the onset. A business is a person, and it needs to exist outside of me. And so before long, the sheriff was going to come and execute my property, not home property, business property. I'm talking about now they're going to come and attach the dryers. Actually, I had gotten an attachment, from the sheriff. And so the thing that I did was I went to the bank and I tried to talk myself out. Remember, who I am. I've got, I'm whose child and all that. And this is where you need now a strong support. And apparently this support was not my relative. It was just a well-wisher. Her name is Virginia Sbanda. She used to head the small to medium enterprise bank, in one of the banks in Zim. She was tough. Tough love is what she gave me. And I am where I am today because of that. So this is the support that, I wish and I hope everybody could have a Virginia in their lives. So this woman called me to bring my checkbook. I brought in the checkbook into the bank and she says, hand it over. She had been told to close my account. But she, for whatever reason, I think she was God sent, she decided to be my support structure. So she took my checkbook, and she gave me an order with no funny face. She says, every cent that you're going to make, whether it's $1, I want it to be banked. So, and she says, I want it to be banked before end of day. every day. If you want to pay anyone, you come to me directly. You write the check in front of me. I'll give you the check. It goes to the person. The checkbook remains with me. She was my saving grace. So for every business out there, you need a Virginia somebody who will stand and not say, oh, yes, you've got money, let's spend it. Or you've got a rich father there, or you've got a rich connection. No, you must treat the business as a person. And the money that is being made from this business is not yours to spend. Just because it was your idea, you need to be able to let this business grow. So the lessons I learned initially, this was like maybe in my very first year, was the money does not belong to you. And having the money in your account, having a credit balance in your account does not necessarily mean that it's to be spent. You need to actually cost your time. You must have a salary. It's something that I later on I can't say I got that one, getting yourself a salary. It's something that I struggled with until later in the years. That's when I started paying myself. But it is very, very crucial that when you're doing your working capital, you must include your salary. Because if you don't have a salary, you will bleed your business. So that's the biggest lesson, and that was my biggest pitfall. In 6 months, I had a letter from Deputy Sheriff wanting to attach my business. That meant closure. But had I not have somebody who supported me, supporters are not the people that will come and tell you what you want to hear. And as an entrepreneur, if you've got friends that are always telling you, oh yeah, you're doing very well, then those are not good. You need people that will tell you the truth that you don't want to hear. The people that, I don't even talk to them. I've got a few ladies out there that when everything hits the fan, I will call them up and I tell them the truth. And I must be prepared to hear the truth from them. So people that support you are all good, but you need the real supporters, the real pillars are people who will tell you that you are stupid in your face. And they will tell you, stop it. And you must have, if you really want to succeed, you must have a teachable spirit as an entrepreneur. Just having an idea is not going to make your business grow. So you need to learn cash flow management, and that includes you. And that includes you, Shephard. In everything that you're doing today, how much are you paying yourself? And you must cost it to the company. And if there is a credit balance in your account for the business, and you must separate, that's the other thing. You need to separate your accounts. Your personal should be separate from your business. Do not take from the business. I am telling you, this has always been the center of my downfalls over the years. It's not easy to ignore money in the account, and there's a Gucci bag somewhere talking, or Shepherd, there's a girlfriend demanding a perfume somewhere. But I am telling you, the best thing that you can do for yourself and your business is separate your personal cash flows. Just live within your means. Let your business grow. Because if your business grow, you will be able to get all those perfumes, all those Gucci bags, anything that you want, the holiday that you want, you'll be able to get it. But our biggest challenge as entrepreneurs is we spend what we don't have.
So, Kuda, if I got you correctly, you are saying First thing is you should be able to separate yourself from your business.
Yes.
Understand that your business is a separate legal person
Yes.
who is supposed to live outside of you, or you are supposed to live outside of it.
Yes.
Okay. And the second thing that maybe we need now to focus on is you have mentioned the issue to do with supporting structure.
Mm.
From your experience,
Mm.
apart from Virginia, how did you go about getting these supporting structures? Are we talking of relatives? Are we talking of friends? Were these people that would just come into your life without being invited, or you had to deliberately look for these people?
In my case, to be honest, the people that have come into my space, that have supported me and that have stood by me, besides the fact that I'm going to take outside my family, because I've always had that support from my family. But not everybody will have a similar kind of family that I had. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about friends, colleagues. Mm-hmm. I have people that have come into my space, and somehow God allowed them to speak into my life, into my business. Maybe because I had a teaching spirit. Because remember, having a great idea doesn't mean that you're better than the next person. Mm. You must always just be grounded, no matter what you do. Even if everyone is talking about your idea, let it be about your idea, not about you. Mm. And this is something that I learned much later. But still, even from the time that I started, I've always had people that would come into my space and tell me the truth. You must be a person who wants to be told the truth. So I guess it's about seeking out the truth from people. Ask questions, ask the right questions. Or just observe other people. Because remember I said the last time, you don't just learn from the people that you always think that they've arrived. You can even learn from even a gardener. Anyone can teach you something. So I think the key thing that an entrepreneur must have is a teachable spirit. Just because you've got a great idea, it does not necessarily mean that that's it. There's still, remember you're asking me a question that are entrepreneurs made or they are born? You might be born with it. But for you to be successful, you need building blocks. And those building blocks comes through people who will come and be honest with you and tell you the truth. So I've had, because remember, my business is more interpersonal. I've had relationships with my clients that have been more meaningful than just being clients. It's the same kind of clients that opened doors for me. It's the same kind of clients that would tell me, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? So I've been fortunate enough that my kind of clients, I gave them an opportunity to be able to speak. Yes, there are other people that would come and tell you the wrong things, but also having a discernment spirit, also it's also very helpful. Discern who is good for you and who is right for you. But it also then comes back to taking every criticism in a positive way. Why is this person saying this to me? So that's how I've managed to build my support structure. The people that have come into my space out of jealousy, they pretend that they are your friends. And, you know, people, when they know, oh, this person seems to be happening, you are the talk of town. And so you know, like a light, it takes away, I mean, it's when you put a candle there, there's a lot of things that want to come in. And if you are not careful, your light can actually be taken out by the moths that come around you. So I think be grounded. Being grounded is almost like you take your candle, you put it on the table, and then you put a glass over it so that the moths will still come, but they will not take away your light. So that's being grounded. Don't shy away from people that are going to come, but, be open-minded in everything that you hear and question why this person is doing what they're doing. Because you also get exposed. So that way you'll be able to actually build your support system.
Kuda, before we can proceed to our third and final question, I want to draw you back to cash flow management. I've talked to a number of entrepreneurs who have indicated that when they were doing their cash flow projections, they would make mistakes of underestimation of the overheads, but then obviously overestimating the revenue. But practically on the ground, they realize that they have actually been using or spending far much more than what they have been making. Have you been in such a situation yourself?
I don't think I've been in that situation. The reason why is because I have never really started a business by borrowing.
Okay.
So for me, I think one of the challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs do is they start by borrowing. So if you start your business with what you have, it gives you the experience of knowing what it is that you actually need. So that, and also the other danger that I think a lot of other entrepreneurs do is they do not know anything about cash flow. They would rather go to Shephard and Shephard actually do a business plan for them and a cash flow projection for them. I challenge all entrepreneurs out there. A cash flow is not a very hard thing to do. Cash flow basically means what is it that you do? What is it that you do every day? What monies do you use every day to produce what you are producing? And if you do produce that, how much, if you sell it, how much will you have? And after you have sold and you take out the things that you have put in, you have costed everything, how much money are you going to be left with? So if real entrepreneurs, yes, unless maybe you're now a big company, now you want to, you've got a department, accounts department, you've got this, maybe that's when you can do that. The key thing, if you really want to be successful and you're an entrepreneur, understand your cash flow. What do you need? Why do you need it? What is it that you're going to use it for? How much are you going to make out of it? Because the other thing is we get excited about starting a business without actually realizing that there's no money that you're making in that business. Why are you doing it? Remember, I mentioned you need to understand the why. What is it that you're doing? Why are you doing it? When are you going to do it? What is the purpose? What do you want to achieve? In a layman's language, that's basically what cash flow is. What do you need? Okay, take for example, if you want to cook sadza, you want to cook pap. What do you need? You need a pot. You need the fire, or you need electricity. You need the milli mill. You need the water. So cost everything that will go into, and don't forget to cost your time. So this is where our key downfall is entrepreneurs. We do and cost everything for everyone. And those ones that make that mistake, that they realize, oh no, they made a mistake on their cash flow. The 99.9%, if they are honest with you, that mistake is based on their cost in this business. They forget that they need electricity themselves, not just the business, themselves, to be able to then come and do the work for the business. They forget that they need to bath. They forget that they need a soap. They need a lotion. They need to eat to be able to be energized to then come and work on this project. And in most cases, this is where a lot of us entrepreneurs miss it. We don't cost our time, but our time finds itself in the budget without it being spelled out. You still need to pay your rent, but you don't have a salary. So where are you going to get the money from the business? You need money for school fees for your kids. Where are you going to get it? From the business. So so all these things are never put onto the cash flow management, in the cash flow forecast in the first place, but they find themselves in it. So
I think you have now answered my question, because as long as one would not have budgeted for these things which are actually going to come in anyway, you end up having more overheads because you had not clearly spelled out the things that are supposed to be taken care of. Let's move on to our third and final question. In your period that you were running a business, let's talk about advertising and marketing. What were some of the issues and challenges that you faced, or pitfalls?
Advertising is expensive. It's not for free. And it's something that I learned, and I learned very, very, very fast. Anyone who wants to do anything, the business cards, they want to be paid. The person who designs the business cards, they want to be paid. So it's important as an entrepreneur to learn, especially these days, there's a lot of free advertising that you can do. So it's important to learn all these avenues on how you can advertise without actually spending money on these adverts. Find collaborations, find people that you can give your product to, and they will talk about it. Like they're called snitchers. People that will snitch about your business without you actually. You probably take, for example, for Feso, would give somebody a package on Feso and will give them for as long as maybe 2-3 years.
I hope to get one so that I can edit.
Well, talk to me nicely. I can afford the marketing now. But anyway, find those, find the best way is organic marketing. You're better off having a return dollar than a new dollar. It's expensive to get a new dollar, but it's more profitable to have a return dollar. What do I mean? A retained business is better than finding new business. So the little that you have, work on it. Make sure that you've got good, satisfied customer. They will talk about it. That's growing it organically, if you can. Look for social media. Yes, it will cost you a little bit in terms of your data, but it's cheaper. It's important to advertise, get yourself known out there, but the best form of marketing and advertising is good service. It's a good product, good service. Focus more on your product and on your services. If your services are good, people will talk about it. If your product is good, a good product will talk for itself. Remember that advert? Maybe you're a young man. I know you don't want me to say that. But anyway, remember Samson? The advert of Samson. Do you remember it?
No.
You see? Okay, there was an advert. Samson was the name of a bull.
Okay.
And the advert was Samson Nyamainunake Notarayenga.
Okay.
You know?
I've heard that act.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So make sure your service or your product is good enough. So that it markets itself. You know, I remember one of my mentors says that whatever you do it so well that even your enemies will advertise for you. So that's because as an entrepreneur, when you're starting, it's hard to have a marketing budget. But the best way, there's so many ways these days, unlike when I started. But one thing that I have seen that works, I have not advertised a lot myself because I've never had an enough budget, but organically it works. Just make sure whatever you do is good, that even your enemies can talk about your product in a good way. That's the best advertising and marketing that one can do, especially as an entrepreneur. I'm talking about an entrepreneur who is starting on a shoestring budget, like me. Yeah.
Kuda, thank you very much for the time that you have afforded us. We hope as we continue to engage, a lot of entrepreneurs are going to benefit from this very program. I would also want to take this opportunity to be grateful to FESO Africa for making sure that a lot of entrepreneurs do benefit from the experience that we are getting from their founder. To our viewers across the globe, please continue to watch for these shows. Next week, we'll be back again. We'll be picking on a very critical entrepreneurship chapter. And then we are going to be talking to Kuda, the CEO of FESO Africa. She's going to be sharing more with us. Once again, thanks very much, Kuda. Hope to meet again with you next week.
Thank you.